Welcome to another edition of the Pylon podcast, the Max and Milton podcast, the Eminem podcast, whatever you want to call it. We're going to figure out that name later. Max, how are you doing today?
I'm doing alright. How you doing, Milt?
Doing really good. Had to kind of scramble, get things together. For the subscribers, the NFC East prediction video was supposed to go up yesterday, but I actually didn't get around to editing it, so it's recorded, but I'm going to be posting that next Friday, so I didn't forget about that. I know it's been like a month since I put up my last prediction video, but it's coming. Now, moving on, they always told me in life, it's not about what you know, it's about who you know. Some prominent stars on the Seattle Seahawks are mostly behind Colin Kaepernick's national anthem protest, and they said they would welcome their former rival into the locker room with open arms. The Seattle Seahawks are his only visit this offseason. Now word around town is that John Harbaugh has been in contact with Colin Kaepernick this summer. His brother Jim, as you all know, coached Kaepernick during his time with the 49ers. Greg Roman was also a part of that 49ers staff. He's also now on the Ravens staff. Max, would Colin Kaepernick be a good fit on the Ravens?
I honestly do think he would. Not really to start right now, but as a backup, he would be a way better choice than their backup. They have Ryan Mallett now. You know, and his back injury that happened about a week ago, it's not really that serious. He's only down for 1 or 2 weeks.
They say 1 week right now. Originally it was supposed to be 6 weeks, but now they're saying it's 1 to 2 weeks. They're just resting. So. The man said it himself. He said it's just rest. Joe Flacco is anticipating it being a week, but medical trainers, they said it could be 6 weeks, but obviously I hope not.
Well, you're just playing into my hand right now. I think he's gonna be playing at some point throughout the season. I don't know when, but let's just say he starts getting hit a little bit more, or Joe Flacco just gets hit a little bit more. He's gonna go down eventually, and I'm gonna say about week 5, you may see him starting to feel the effects of getting hit because he doesn't get the ball out that fast. He does take a decent amount of hits. Am I wrong? You're the fan here.
Yeah, our offensive line hasn't been the best the past couple years. He just tore his ACL 2 years ago because our right tackle or left tackle got pushed back into his knee and he ended up tearing his ACL.
So you're basically saying that he does get hit more than the average quarterback probably should.
Yeah, the last couple years.
And he already has a back injury to start the season.
He said he injured his back working out, so it's not like it's a disc or anything. He said he tweaked it working out.
Yeah, whatever.
You go to the gym, I'm pretty sure you've had those days where you're lifting too much, maybe you just turn the wrong way and you tweak it. It does suck.
6 weeks, I'm a tweak. A tweak in the gym.
That's original reports, but right now Joe Flacco is anticipating it being a week or two.
A week or two, that's fine. I want to know how Ryan Mallett's doing, and I don't think he's going to be doing that great.
I don't trust Ryan Mallett at all.
So I'm saying sign Colin Kaepernick.
I'm saying,
because that's not a far drop-off, and you might be in a better position having a dual-threat quarterback rather than just having Joe Flacco in there, who's not all that mobile. He can gain 5 yards if he has to.
Yeah, but
if he has to. Colin Kaepernick can just say, you guys are covered. Nah, I'm on my way.
All right, but here's the thing.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10 first downs, drive extending plays.
I'm going to sound like the biggest hypocrite ever because all summer I've been saying, sign Colin Kaepernick, screw the NFL. The NFL is blackballing him. All these owners are racist. And you know what? I want Colin Kaepernick on a team, just not my team. I know I sound extremely hypocritical saying that, but here's why. Number one is that if we sign Colin Kaepernick, it's not going to be just a camp arm. No, we're going to be signing him to be that backup because I do think he is a better quarterback than Ryan Mallett. But the two main reasons why I wouldn't want to see Colin Kaepernick in a Ravens jersey, even though, Baltimore's a big Black Lives Matter town. First off, Colin Kaepernick would not fit our offense. And the reason why I say that is because we had a guy, Tyrod Taylor, as our backup for 3-4 years. Whenever that fool got on the field, he was not productive. Our system does not cater to running quarterbacks. During Tyrod Taylor's time with the Ravens, he wasn't that good. He went to an offense that actually worked for him in Buffalo, and he's a damn near Pro Bowler. Did he make the Pro Bowl? I'm not pretty sure, but he was definitely on that level. our system does not cater to running quarterbacks. And second, the biggest thing, when you are married, happy wife, happy life. The Ravens put a ring on Joe Flacco. Joe Flacco has since came out and he said what I said. I want Colin Kaepernick to get a shot, just not here. For those of you who don't know, I know Joe Flacco comes off as a very stoic, chill, emotionless quarterback, but no, Joe Flacco is highly emotional. I think it was maybe 2-3 years ago, we were doing a gadget play that had Tyrod Taylor go on the field, and Joe Flacco was lined out wide, and he was supposed to actually sell his route and act like he's running downfield to open up the offense. Tyrod Taylor hiked the ball. That man, Joe Flacco, had his hands in his fanny pack and did not move an inch. Reports came out saying gadget plays are pointless. I'm supposed to be taking all the snaps. If you're a guy like Joe Flacco who's not even going to sell a gadget play for one play during the game, that we've done a gadget play maybe once his entire tenure for the Ravens. If he's not open to that, what makes you think that he's going to be open to Colin Kaepernick being added?
Do you think that he's just scared somebody's going to take his job?
That could be a part of it.
I don't think he gets it done all the time.
He doesn't.
He doesn't want somebody else that can cause a quarterback controversy in the same camp. So let's just bring it back to your example with Tyrod Taylor, right? He comes in for his gadget play and it works. For one time in one game. You know what? 3 weeks down the line, let's try it again. It's not the same play, but it's going to be something different, and it works again. Mm-hmm. You know what? Let's give this guy a little bit more snaps because if these trick plays are working, I wonder what he can do on a normal set. Hey, look, week 9, week 12, hey, Joe Flacco's hitting like a little mid-game slump. He has 2 picks in the first half, 3 picks in the first half.
That's not
30% completion.
That's not mid-season. That's every other game for Joe Flacco.
Now you understand why he doesn't want anybody there to have a quarterback controversy. Now you're going to take him out and put in Tyrod Taylor. Now what happens if Tyrod Taylor does well? The same thing that Alex Smith happened with Colin Kaepernick. Listen, you're going to lose your job. So he's going to say, you know what? I'm the starter. No, I don't get it done all the time. Yes, I'm really streaky. So I don't want anybody here that can possibly take my job. Ryan Mallett, you're cool because I know you're not taking my job.
Nah, if Ryan Mallett ever starts a game for us this season, it's over.
That means you guys are going to be drafting a quarterback pretty soon if Ryan Mallett starts going in, and you guys start losing even more than with Joe Flacco.
That's a whole nother. We'll do that next week. Don't even get into that. Back to Colin Kaepernick.
Yeah, but if you have Colin in there.
He's Mr. Steal Your Girl at the quarterback position. Came in as a backup.
So what you're saying is that he plays really well when there's no pressure on him.
Yeah. But
now you see why Joe Flacco doesn't want him there.
I see why I feel like that's, unless you're, Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers, I'm pretty sure every quarterback would react that way. I personally don't think that it would take a lot for Colin Kaepernick to actually start for the Ravens just because we're so cap strapped because of Joe Flacco. There's going to be those irrational fans, if we do sign Colin Kaepernick and Joe Flacco as a 3-interception game, there's going to be, those irrational fans. Put Colin Kaepernick in. But
is it so irrational if he does it a lot?
I mean, they did it with Tyrod Taylor, but at the same time, just Tyrod Taylor in that system did not work. If Joe Flacco had a bad game when Tyrod Taylor was here, Tyrod Taylor was going to do worse. Colin Kaepernick is not that type of quarterback where you can plug into any system. And I don't think we're going to be... If we do sign Colin Kaepernick as a backup, we're going to be anticipating him not going in at all, which is going to be a mistake, which is why I think we don't ultimately sign him. But we're not going to have those plays that are going to extenuate his strengths as opposed to Joe Flacco because they're two different quarterbacks.
Yeah, but you're acting like Colin Kaepernick can't play from the pocket.
He can.
He can't play strictly from the pocket.
He has to have...
He's going to move a little bit.
He has to have those simplified reads. You're making me go against this dude, Colin Kaepernick. I've been supporting this dude all summer. Now you're making me... I'm a hypocrite.
Colin can play from the pocket. He's a pass-first guy. And at the end of the day, he has straight run plays, but, he still plays from the pocket. If they had a comparison like they did when he was on the 49ers, eating up, it was Cam and Colin. And they said... Cam is the running quarterback. and they said they wanted Colin to be the better version of Cam Newton, right? And then all of a sudden, you get exactly who you want him to play like. And he's on the Seattle Seahawks. And they played so similar. Only difference was his play style.
Yeah, he's a better fit for the Seahawks because they already have a mobile quarterback.
They already have it, but they said, all right, cool, this is exactly what we want you to be. We want you to kind of resemble Russell.
Yeah, but it took a while for Russell to actually mold into that pocket passer. Me personally, from watching Russell Wilson,
he was always like that. He was in Nebraska.
He was carried.
He was in Nebraska.
His first few years before Marshawn Lynch retired, he was carried. But that season where Marshawn Lynch, his last season in Seattle, when he was dealing with the abdominal issues, that's when you really saw Russell Wilson grow into that pocket passer that we didn't see in previous years. Yeah, he had flashes of it, but he became a consistent pocket passer in Marshawn Lynch's last season with Seattle because he was forced to.
But now, don't you think that Colin can do the same thing? They literally have the same development path.
Yeah.
They can run when they have to very efficiently. They can also throw the ball when they need to very efficiently.
And that's what I'm saying. That Russell and Colin are similar type quarterbacks, which is why Colin would work in the Seahawks offense as opposed to a straight drop back offense like the Ravens.
He's not gonna fit in Seattle.
Why wouldn't he?
If he went to Seattle, the only reason that they would do that was to further split the team because already half of the defense does not like Russell Wilson.
We're gonna get to that later in the show. We're gonna get to that later in the show, but
man, all right, listen, you guys need to sign him for the safety of the Seattle Seahawks. You guys need to sign him because if you don't, you're gonna see two teams suffer, and it's gonna be Seattle Seahawks and it's gonna be Ryan Mallett leading your Baltimore Ravens. And I know you don't want that because then you guys are going to have three quarterbacks in there that probably shouldn't be able to play with a new rookie quarterback that you guys will draft because Joe Flacco, if he's down and Ryan Mallett has to play, that means his health is becoming an issue. And
hey, you know what? Straight up.
He's going to be an overpaid bench player.
Yeah, straight up.
So you're going to have to draft a guy anyway. So why even do that?
When you're talking about Ravens drafting a player, I will say this because I was going to say we'll do it next week. I'll say it right now. Listen, if we go if we miss the playoffs again, we need to draft a quarterback in the second round and put Joe Flacco on notice because if we miss the playoffs again, it's going to be because of Joe Flacco and John Harbaugh.
I believe it.
All right, coming up on the show, we'll debate, does locker room chemistry actually matter? And we also get into some of the contract negotiations with Odell Beckham and Le'Veon Bell. You're now listening to The Pylon. This is Business Management 101. Max has a better business acumen than me, so he'll probably be taking the lead when we get into the facts and figures and numbers and all that. He's a low-key hustler. I'll just be speculating from afar. Re-up time. You're supposed to know your worth in life. We all feel like we should be paid more. There's never enough money that you could possibly have. Odell wants all the money the Giants have to offer him. In an interview, Odell says, quote, "It's like the elephant in the room. You don't want to talk about it, but I've gotten to the point in my life where I'm like, no, I'm going to. There's no need to not talk about it. I believe that I will hopefully be not just the highest paid receiver in the league, but the highest paid, period." Max, should Odell be the highest paid player in the NFL, and were his comments actually smart?
His comments were confident in himself, but out of line. He should not be the highest paid player in the NFL. You play receiver. The ball is thrown to you after you maybe possibly get open. Okay? The ball comes from who? The quarterback. Every play, the quarterback has to see where you are in relation to the defense and then make the smart decision and throw the ball to whoever is open.
So you would say quarterback is the most important?
The quarterback is the most important piece on an offense. Why?
Wait, the team? The entire
on an
team?
offense.
Okay.
On an offense.
All right.
Now, why am I going to have a receiver, a guy who's a product of two different things, or possibly more, three different things? I'll just say that. You have to get open as a receiver, all right?
Because he's better than his quarterback?
His quarterback
is.
But your quarterback has to throw you the ball after you possibly do your job, right? Mm-hmm. The ball has to be on point. I'm not going to get Ryan Mallett to throw you the ball.
Stop bringing up Ryan Mallett. I'm not trying to hear his name no more.
I'm not going to get anybody to throw you the ball, okay? And now if he doesn't have offensive line, you're not getting the ball. So there's 3 different things that have to go into play for you to even get the ball or even get an adequate look and be put in a position to even catch the ball. So no, you're not going to be the highest paid player. Because how many teams are in search of a quarterback? Every 2 years, somebody's looking for a quarterback.
I'm a Ravens fan. I've been searching for a receiver like the past decade, bro.
That's fine because you guys had an adequate quarterback. You guys
Mm-hmm.
didn't have to get another quarterback. Houston Texans have not made any real noise because they don't have a steady quarterback. Okay, Eli can say whatever, but he still has 2 rings. And in crunch time, I hate the guy, but, he performs. You're not getting a higher contract number than somebody who outperforms you and has a more valuable position than you on the team.
Odell should make more money than Eli. I'm just saying.
I don't know.
I hate Eli.
I don't like Eli either. But Odell, I don't like him. But he does things well. Am I saying he shouldn't make money? No. You're not going to be the highest paid player. I see receiver maybe top 5.
Top 5. He's top 3.
No, top 5 receiver. Top 5 paid receiver.
Well, he's top 3. Arguably the best.
Arguably.
Yeah, arguably. Arguably.
Is he going up against everybody's number 1 cornerback? Odell.
Yes.
Throughout the game, only playing outside.
It depends if you're going against the Redskins and the Eagles. I'm not sure if the Cowboys play a zone defense, but those teams play cover 2s. So the quarterbacks rarely ever travel on those teams.
Then why is he so sometimes in the slot?
Odell?
If he's a number 1 receiver, he should just be outside. Look at Julio Jones. Julio
plays in the slot.
No,
that shows your value as a receiver if you can move all over the line. Just because you're the top receiver doesn't mean you play exclusively on the right outside.
I'm not saying only on the right outside. I'm just saying.
And the Giants only just now put Odell in the slot this season.
Because why? They wanted him to be...
Because he has the talent to. Yeah, more mismatches. But what, that's a crime to put your receiver in the slot against a number 3 cornerback? Defenses need to adjust. That's not a slight on Odell. It's more of a slight on the defenses if they can't keep up with them. If they don't have the personnel to travel along the line with them.
Okay. So now if we have to say we're going to put you against the number 3 defender...
And it's not like he's always in the slot, by the way.
A lot of times he is.
He lines up on the outside way more than he does in the slot.
You sure about that?
We could try to go put up numbers or whatever,
you can try to pull him up, but at the end of the day, a lot of his impact plays are shorter plays.
Okay, wait.
Or he's going up against the not really.
So you're saying
focused.
So are you saying because the Pittsburgh Steelers put Antonio Brown in the slot sometimes too? What is that a detriment to Antonio Brown's talent?
No, but that man is a monster. He's an absolute monster, and he eats on the inside or outside. Odell often eats on the inside.
He can do outside too.
He can, but he doesn't do it often.
Anyway, let me say
because you brought up AB. He caught 30 less passes than him last year.
Yeah. Hold on.
Over 30. Over 30.
I am getting that. I'm getting to that. Let me say my whole spiel. The question was, should Odell be the highest paid player in the NFL? Obviously, hell no. A receiver should not be the highest paid player in the NFL. And the reason why is because you mentioned the impact that quarterbacks have and how dependent they are on whatever going on around them. Yeah. I will also add to that in saying that the past few Super Bowl winners have not had elite top 3 receivers. The Patriots, Julian Edelman, yeah, he's a bad dude, but he's not seen as, a top 3, top 5 guy. At least I don't ever hear anyone saying that. You have Julio Jones, he doesn't have a ring. Antonio Brown, best receiver in the league, he doesn't have a ring. You can go on and on and on. Elite receivers don't win you rings, so that's why I would say Odell should not be the highest paid player. But highest paid receiver, of course. And the reason why I say that is because, first off, you have to look at it when these young guys are coming up on their contract years and they're about to hit free agency. If you're considered just a top player at your position, not even the best, I'm talking about top player, you're automatically going to reset the market value every single time. We saw it last year with Josh Norman. Does Josh Norman deserve 5 years, $75 million? No, he's not. But still, because he's seen as a top cornerback, he had to reset the market value for that. And then when you look into, I think Julio Jones is the highest paid receiver right now. Is he?
I think so.
He should be. Anyway, Odell's been in the league 3 years. You look at Julio Jones' first 3 years, doesn't even touch Odell's numbers in his first 3 years. Antonio Brown, I'm pretty sure Antonio Brown got signed either his third or fourth year. He got paid early. His numbers aren't even touchable compared to Odell's. Odell, it's an argument of whether or not he is the best receiver, but him being a top receiver just means point blank that he deserves to have the highest paid contract. You can go into moral wins and losses. If you go into contract negotiations from a moral standpoint, Tom Brady should be the highest paid quarterback, or Aaron Rodgers. I think Tom Brady's cap hit is like what? I think Tom Brady's making only like 14 a year.
He's smart.
Tom Brady?
Yes.
No, Tom Brady has a supermodel wife, and he has all these endorsement deals, so he doesn't really need all that extra money.
And he also says, "Why am I gonna get all this money so we can't buy players that I need?" There's a reason why he doesn't take huge contracts, Mill.
And he's also set at home, but also you have to realize too, which I've been actually thinking about this. If Eli Manning doesn't run himself out of the New York Giants organization with his bad play, he's going to retire in the next 2-3 years, and Odell's numbers are going to dip significantly. Who's their backup quarterback? Davis Webb. They'll be force-feeding him the ball, yes, but instead of Odell having 1,300 yard season, it's probably going to go down to like 900, maybe just over 1,000. And he has to... And then the narrative, when that happens, they're going to be saying, has Odell lost a step, blah, blah, when really it's just crappy quarterback play.
I think that there's 3 players that you can compare Odell to right now. You can either say he can be in an offense that has another really good deep threat, and he can become an Antonio Brown.
He hasn't had a deep threat his entire career.
Exactly. So
and
if he had another one, it would free him up. So he could become an Antonio Brown. Or he can just be a number 2 receiver and be Emmanuel Sanders.
Odell's better than Emmanuel Sanders.
He could be. If something happens, if they lost a quarterback, they could be. Or he could just become another Deshaun Jackson.
No. No, because he's more
Deshaun Jackson went to a team that did not end up having a quarterback at all.
I don't think they're comparable players. Because Deshaun Jackson is just a one-trick pony. He's the best deep...
He's a deep threat.
The best... What do you say he's the best? Best deep threat?
He's super fast.
Top 2. Yeah, he's just a deep threat.
He's super fast.
He doesn't run intermediate routes.
Odell's pretty fast because he's too small.
Odell's...
They both have pretty good hands. Neither of them like to really get hit like that. And they both can scorch you going down the field.
Yeah, but Odell is a better route runner than Deshaun Jackson.
I'll give you that part.
Yeah, his route tree... I'm just saying
in terms of like play style. All right, his route tree is a little bit more crisp, but at the same time, if you have Eli Manning leave, he becomes Deshaun Jackson.
Where would you rank Odell as far as the receiving pecking order goes?
Number 3.
Okay. All right. I just want to know, but I do want to point this out. I'm just saying that Joe Flacco was once the highest paid quarterback in the NFL. Josh Norman, highest paid cornerback. You don't necessarily have to deserve it to be the highest paid. Odell's top 3. He's going to reset the market value. He deserves to be the highest paid receiver. Highest paid player, he's dreaming. That comment is ridiculous, but at the same time, I guess because you know business, don't you not want to short sell yourself? Don't you want to aim high and try to get to that intermediate?
Yeah, that's fine. You can try to do it. You always want to shoot for something that may be out of reach. So from an ownership standpoint, you want a low ball, right? From a player standpoint, you want to shoot for the stars. Because if you miss, you land on the cloud, and if you try to low ball, you know, you still end up probably not as high as you would have if you came up and just said, this is what I think you're worth. Because every time an owner gives you a number, that number is going to go up. Every time. Because the player's going to say, no, I'm not worth that. I'm going to leave. Then you're like, oh, no, stay here. Instantly, every time you beg, the number goes up. Right? So Odell can say, I want to be the highest paid player. Statistically, you're not. So therefore, you have no numbers to back you up. Yes, you have explosive plays of over 40 yards by Antonio Brown by 2. He has 6 all year. Antonio Brown has 4. Okay? He's also 300 yards short of Antonio Brown. He's also over 30 passes less. Right? He has a less first down completion rating. Like the plays that he has that go for first downs are less than Antonio Brown. Not by much, but they're still there. And the overall plays that he has that go for first downs are less than 30. Like, he has less than 30 plays that go for first downs compared to Antonio Brown. You are not the best receiver.
Yeah, I'm willing to...
You should therefore not be paid as such.
I'm willing to concede that Antonio Brown is the best receiver. I will say, though, is that Antonio Brown is fed the ball more than Odell. I'm just saying. He is.
Okay, now Julio Jones. Do you force feed Julio Jones?
In that year when he almost broke the receiving record, yeah. This year they didn't force him the ball as much because they had other weapons around him.
Great, because all of his stats are still better than Odell.
Not this year.
He had 104 catches. How many did Odell have?
No, this past year, in the regular season.
In 2016.
Yeah, Julio Jones had 83 catches, 1,400 yards, 6 touchdowns.
Touche.
Yeah, this year, Odell, 101, 1,300, and 10 touchdowns. And Giants wouldn't have made the playoffs without Odell. I'm just saying. And then, we're going to transition over to another guy who's going through some contract negotiations. Le'Veon Bell, apparently he wants to be paid top running back money and number 2 receiver money. What I read is that the Steelers offered the dude $12 million a year for a running back. He does a lot, by the way. Best running back in the league. But $12 million. And he turned it down. Why I think that's idiotic is because when you look at number 2 receivers in the league, do number 2 receivers in the league even make $12 million a year?
No.
The top receivers make $15 a year. You're not going to be paying a number 2, your second fiddle guy, $12 million. Try $6 million. Le'Veon Bell's out here denying $12 million. So what? He wants $13 million? $14 million? Like I said, I'm not going to hate on a dude for trying to get his money, but him turning down $12 million I think is a mistake, and I don't think the Steelers are going to go above that.
I think they will. I really do. Not by much, but I think they're going to go over. 13? I was going to say 14.
For a guy who's injured too? Like, I'm not... See, I sound like I'm hating, but this is a guy that's not been available. He has a drug past, and he's turning down $12 million, and he expects that organization to dole out $14 million a year, basically number 1 receiver money to a guy who's irresponsible and unavailable.
Who also, when he's playing, is
the best,
better than anybody on the field.
Yeah, but just try to help me understand though, like what you have to know a good thing when it's in front of you. When you're a running back and you have a very, very short shelf life, when you get to that third contract, you're not going to be making anywhere near $12 million. Teams are going to be trying to sign you for about $2-3 million. And especially if you're injury prone, by the time that deal runs out, you might be getting near the veteran minimum.
He will not be that guy.
He's injured.
He won't
his
be
knees.
that.
His knees. By the time this second contract runs out, his knees brittle.
I think his play style will change and how people use him will change. So the Steelers, when they sign him for 13.5, 14 a year for about 3 years,
because then they're gonna have to try to sign. They have some young defenders. Ryan Shazier, he's going to be coming up for a contract. Martavis Bryant, I know he's been irresponsible, but...
he's not going to get the money he wants.
Probably not. But he's still going to want his money, and
they're still going to extra $2 million a year.
They're still going to want to keep him though, because when Martavis Bryant's on the field, they drop 30 a game. So I mean, yeah.
No. I'm not talking about productivity. I'm just talking about availability.
Yeah.
He's not going to get that money. He sat out an entire season.
Off of some drugs, yeah.
What makes you think it's not going to happen again from an ownership standpoint?
But when it gets to that point, I'm not sure when his contract ends, but let's say it's 2-3 years from now, whatever. Once free agency hits and, once the numbers start talking and you see those desperate teams like the Cleveland Browns or whoever needs receiver help offering a number 2 receiver about maybe $10 million he would be a number 1 on the new team he goes to. Once those numbers start coming out, the Steelers are going to want to keep him. And they're going to be willing to slightly overpay for 30 points a game and continue to build on that defense. Bryant? I would.
He's not going to get it.
If Martavis Bryant guarantees at least 30 points a game, drug pass or not, shoot, I'll give you what you want.
Now you're going to be sick when he gets suspended for another 5-6 games. I'm pretty sure his next one he's indefinitely suspended.
Isn't he banned?
Yeah.
Because he's already been suspended for a year.
Because it goes like what, 3 games, 4 games to 6 or 8, and then a year.
Yeah.
My man.
I'm telling you. I'm just saying I'm
gonna sit here and pay you and give you a number 1 receiving contract as a number 2 receiver on my team just because I like the amount of points I get. For you to be suspended indefinitely, from an ownership standpoint, that is a bad move.
Oh, I get what you're saying, but like I said, I would be smitten by the 30 points a game, bro. 30 points, continue to build that defense.
And then it drops to 21 because he can't play. Now what?
With Le'Veon. Anyway.
Yeah, but he's not gonna get the number 1 receiver money because he's not a number 1 receiver, and because he seems like he can't stay out of weed shops.
Yeah, but also, do you think that Le'Veon Bell's effectiveness also has a lot to do with the attention that Antonio Brown gets? So do you think maybe in a way he could be underrated or overrated?
He fits in the offense. He's not overrated at all.
I don't think so. I was just raising the question.
If he went to another team, he'd be doing almost the same thing.
I feel like he could not run the same way on another team. I feel like the offensive line
he has to go to a good offensive line.
He's patient and dealing with him pussyfooting the hole and
he's not pussyfoot around.
He does. He goes there it's effective. It makes him the best when he goes there, waits about 3 seconds before getting hit.
Come on.
That's
outrageous. That's outrageous. That
is outrageous.
It's about a second. He waits. He shuffles, sidestep, goes.
But it also has to do with the chemistry with his offensive line. I feel like if you put him on, let's say, Dallas's offensive line. Still great offensive line, but they're going to want him to see the hole and hit the hole like Zeke does. They're not going to want to see him just sit there, stand, and then decide what hole is the best for him.
Dallas runs an offense that goes straight ahead.
Yeah.
It's kind of like hit you in the mouth more times than you're going to hit me in the mouth kind of offense. With Dak there now, I don't really know where it's going to go. I can assume it's going to go a little bit more finesse. But the way it was last year, Zeke was hitting on all cylinders last year. And that offensive line was great because they understand all we have to do is hold our block for 2 seconds. Cool. The Pittsburgh Steelers don't do that.
Let me ask you this question. Let me raise this question. To an earlier point that I was saying is that Odell statistically was better in his first 3 years than Julio and Antonio Brown were. Le'Veon Bell's been in the league for a couple years. When you look back, let's say in the next 3 years, when you look at the best players at the running back position, who do you think will be that top dog? Do you still think it's going to be Le'Veon Bell, or do you think by then Zeke will have really, really arrived and he would be Adrian Peterson 2.0?
I need another season with Zeke to say that. So I'm going to say Le'Veon. Only because you can't base it off of a rookie season. I can't tell you off of 1 year this guy's going to be a Hall of Famer.
But it's the offensive line, though. Look, ever since 2014... It
doesn't matter if you can't play.
I mean, yeah, if he does get suspended. Zeke, stop pulling out girls' boobs and all that. Stop hitting these girls. It's not smart. But when you look at... The business model is still the same. In 2014, DeMarco Murray, 1,800 yards. Why? Offensive line. Tony Romo had his best season.
Facts.
The next year, they did not make the playoffs. They went 4-12. They had a horrible, horrible team. But that offensive line Still, sixth ranked running game. Last year, top running game. Offensive line, as long as that offensive line is still in place, I think you're still going to be seeing Zeke rip off 1,300 yard season, 1,400 yard seasons. I feel like that's just going to be a consistent business model that's foolproof as long as they can keep that offensive line intact.
I think it's also as Dak Prescott progresses as a quarterback, because you didn't know what he was going to bring to the table. You just know this guy is kind of fast, and he throws accurately.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you choose to crowd the box because you have a backup in there, or do you choose to play cushion on the run game and cover the field? Now, if Dak becomes a little bit hesitant, or he has a sophomore slump, he starts making some bad decisions, getting full of himself, now all of a sudden you crowd that box because you don't have faith in Dak. Now instantly Zeke's stats go shooting down.
I did read a number, I think it was in week 16 of the season, where that offensive line is so good, it doesn't matter if they stack the box. Zeke had more yards per carry against stacked boxes than he did when teams didn't stack the box, which I thought was absolutely phenomenal.
Which is fine. 2 years and now the second year, do it again.
Challenge. You hear that, Zeke?
But it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen, though. Because either Dak's going to crumble in his sophomore season, or he's just going to continue to grow a little bit at a time.
With what we saw from him last year, I think that he's the real deal. Because he didn't light it up. Let's say like RG3, where it was just splash plays, and he just relied on that. Like, he's just a consistent good quarterback who's poised and he consistently makes good decisions. I don't see how that goes away as you grow older and wiser in the league.
Touche. I'll sit with that one. But I'm just really thinking if he does not take a step forward every single season, that's one less step Zeke has to take forward, or can take forward.
True. All right, up next, we discuss chemistry in a locker room. Doesn't matter for a championship team. You're now listening to the Pylon. Max, do you believe chemistry in the locker room is overrated?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Because you look at it, it's always team chemistry is overlooked when you're winning. You know, it's just, this is just a winning environment. This is just how they do it. This is an organizational thing. But now when you're losing, that's the first thing they point at. It's just, the
media's looking for stories.
Yeah, the chemistry might be wrong.
Are those Yeezys?
Shut up.
Max has Yeezys.
You look at Seattle, they have a split locker room. And they took an entire step back last year in terms of performance on the field. When they went to Super Bowl, they were winning all of those close games. You see the Legion of Boom. You see them all huddled around each other, chanting, like, all smiles. Or if they're mad on the field hitting somebody. Last year, they're yelling at each other on the sideline, wanting to rip each other's heads off. Then reports come out that, a player's babied by coaches. Now you're splitting it up in between your side of the ball and further. It's already divided because you have offense and defense, but now you have offense not liked by the defense at all. And you got rid of a receiver because he was saying certain players on the team are catered to more than other players on the same side of the ball. So you cut the receiver. It's not like it's an overlooked thing when you're losing at all or when you're not performing well. It's the biggest part of it because if I don't trust you, I'm not going to throw you the ball. If I don't trust you, I'm going to over pursue to make the tackle. Each one of those prevents somebody else from performing and doing their job. So you have to have good locker room chemistry, which is why Colin Kaepernick wasn't signed or isn't signed yet. You know, nobody wants to split up their locker room.
Colin Kaepernick has been to a Super Bowl. And this, I will say this, is that when Colin Kaepernick first came into the league, the whole stigma behind him was that arrogant, you know, kind of kept to himself. You know, he had his own little posse in the locker room, but he didn't really ingratiate himself in the entire locker room like a quarterback should. That team was still in the NFC Championship game every year. They made the Super Bowl. Now, once Colin Kaepernick actually makes an effort to ingratiate himself into the locker room, they go 8-8, 4-12, and he gets kicked out, you know, for the whole anthem thing. The Seattle Seahawks, they do have locker room discord, yes, but you have to kind of blame it on Pete Carroll, because it got to a point where you had your second straight Super Bowl in your hand, and it got taken away because you wanted to be too cute, because you wanted to officially make Russell Wilson the face of the franchise when that was still Marshawn's team. It was still the defense's team. As far as they have not gotten over that Super Bowl, no, but that's still not going to take away from the fact that they're going to be in the playoffs this year. More chance than a lot of other NFC teams to be in the NFC Championship game. So as far as chemistry goes, yeah, you don't hang out or whatever, but I mean, come on, look at Ben Roethlisberger. You think he's really going to you think he's going to make an effort to go hang out with Martavius Bryant after a game? No, they're grown men. They go back to their homes, their wives or whatever, and do their own thing. It's the same thing with the Seahawks. You don't have to necessarily like each other, but once they get on the field, they all got a job to do. And if you don't do your job, you know you're going to get cut. Plain and simple. If a player does their job, that helps the other player do their job, which means more money for everyone else.
And success.
Yeah.
And I'm not doing my job 100%. I'm doing my job 110 because I don't trust you.
Yeah, but you also have to think, like, let's say the offense is having a great game in Seattle, and let's say the defense hates Russell Wilson. You really think they're going to be saying, you know what, screw Russell Wilson. We want to do everything we can to make sure he doesn't look good, so we're not going to do our jobs, and we're going to make this a shootout. That way there's more of a chance for Russell Wilson to throw a pick. That way he can come back down to earth. Like, no, it's... Once the bullets start flying, because you have to like realize these guys are going near 30 miles an hour trying to take each other's head off. Like, I'm not going to be a linebacker in the hole and then be thinking, oh, do I really like that next linebacker that's lined up next to me? No, I'm worried about not offensive linemen blindsiding me. I'm hoping the teammates doing their job, but I'm not going to go out on the field and be like, I am not going to do my job to the best of my abilities because I don't like that person.
I don't think it's in terms of performance and thinking like that on your feet. Like in the middle of a play, I'm not thinking, I don't know how I feel about Russell today. You know, I don't think that's the case. It's just a matter of when the media comes in after the game, if somebody doesn't perform or you think that they could have performed a little bit better, they're taking shots. Mm-hmm. That's where it hits. And now preparation week is
tense.
Very, very tense.
Yeah.
Now you have locker room fights. Now you have, you know, whatever else is going on, it's not going to ever really be seen, but the comments are going to be heard. People love social media now. Antonio Brown said something about Le'Veon on social media. You don't think that locker room's going to be tense? And then you even said it on your video last time.
Yeah, he needs to stay out of his pockets.
Yeah, stay out of his pockets. But he's still on social media. He felt the need that he had to say something. In a locker room, if there's no chemistry, I get a camera in my face, I'm saying something.
Mm-hmm. But also, I feel like there's two factors to it. One, players can't be mad at the media reporting these things if they're putting it out there. But also, part of me does feel that maybe the media makes up stories. And what I'm saying is that the whole Seahawks locker room discord thing, there's a good chance it could be fake news. And the reason I say that is because it's a perfect story for the media to plan. Team lost the Super Bowl in tragic fashion. The cameraman happens to pan on Richard Sherman yelling at coaches during a game, even though that happens to players getting fights on the sidelines all the time. argue, maybe even fisticuffs, whatever. Media sees that. They see the Seahawks big team. They have all this attention. So why don't we make up this story in saying that that locker room's completely tarnished? Because now it's the media's word versus the Seahawks players' word, which they're saying there's nothing going on. Which I get it when you're in a relationship, when you're arguing, you're not going to be going out of your way to tell people, yeah, we're arguing about this right now. There's a chance I might break up with them. No, but it depends on what people actually believe. But the media has been known to make up stories, so people also have to consider that.
But this has happened multiple times. This is not the first time.
But I mean, yelling at coaches, high school players yell at coaches.
Yeah,
it's not a big deal.
That's fine, but I mean, players yelling and pointing out other players.
Accountability.
This is not the first time it's happened in Seattle.
Accountability. What
happened when Marshawn hit his "I'm retiring"? He was like, "Yeah, I was shocked I didn't get the ball."
Yeah.
Everybody thought, yeah, we're about to win the Super Bowl. I'm about to dive into this and I'm about to
grab
wild out in the end zone.
Yeah.
Right? And then it's a pass play. He said, all right, cool, I'm just going to step back. That was a conscious decision that he made to say that out loud to the media, knowing that it would be released. Russell's quiet.
But I mean, what else could he lie about? Like, Marshawn,
he's still not the only person. This happened 3 times.
Yeah, but what I was thinking is that after that, he could, because Marshawn's not a BSer. He's not going to go out there and be like, listen, yeah, I thought it was a perfect play that we should have passed the ball and catch everyone by surprise. Like, we know he should have got the ball. Media knows he should have got the ball. Patriots know he should have got the ball. So, I mean, is he supposed to go out there and lie? It'd be fake.
I'm not saying that at all, but the one guy that doesn't like the media goes to the media.
That is true.
And says whatever everybody else is thinking. When he doesn't do that, something serious is going on. And it's not a coincidence. It's not the media saying this is a made-up story. Is it fantasticalized or whatever? Is it blown up? Probably. But it means that there's still something there, that they are not the happiest people in that locker room. They need to be like the Patriots. You have plenty of problems in the Patriots locker room.
I was going to say
one story that ever came out about them.
That is true. That is very true. The Patriots are a responsible organization, but as far as the whole beef with Russell, he's getting coddled. Do you think that's just defensive players they have a natural disdain for quarterbacks? Because I can guarantee you that Russell Wilson is not the only coddled quarterback in the NFL. I'm pretty sure Aaron Rodgers is definitely coddled, as a matter of fact. He's definitely coddled by them.
He's spoiled.
Yeah.
He's spoiled.
But no one's going to go out and actually say it, but I don't think it's necessarily a big issue with quarterbacks being coddled.
Rephrase that. If you're still playing with them, they're not going to say anything.
Greg Jennings is talking all that mess after he left.
Exactly.
He's a punk for that.
I'm not gonna risk my numbers. Whether I'm gonna get my passes or money, I'm not gonna risk that. I'm gonna shut up.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like, in the summer when it first starts, there's 90 players in the locker room. During the season, there's 53 players. Not everybody is gonna like each other. As a matter of fact, there are probably people who despise each other in every single locker room around the NFL. But at the end of the day, I feel like it's more so with how your coaches handle it and also how responsible your players are with getting that information about those arguments out there to the media.
Nothing to say about it.
All right, that's all we have for the Pylon today. We'll see you guys back here next week.